Hi there, I'm Agnes Garbowska. I draw DC superhero girls, and I'm gonna draw one of the girls, Jessica Cruz, who is the newest Green Lantern, and she is awesome. I'm gonna start with shapes, because shapes help me figure out what I'm drawing. Because if I just start drawing her, she might look very funny and awkward, and we don't want her to look funny or awkward. So everything when I start drawing is circles, little sausages, and a lot of lines. It's called basically a layout. I do this when I draw comic books too. I lay everything out super, super loosely, and as I figure it out, I'll tighten everything up. And I'm just thinking of what cool pose can we put her in today? She's in space, so she's definitely gonna be flying. I'm gonna move her arm up. So this is gonna be my basic pose. This is actually how I start off just about anything I work on, whether it's a person or a background, it's all just basic shapes. And I start filling in the details, like where the eyes are gonna sit, because it's very important to know where the eyes are gonna sit. So I have a little line here. I'm gonna make her looking back. And we'll add a little nose, and we're gonna make her really happy because she's Jessica Cruz. She's happy to be a Green Lantern. I think everyone should be happy to be a Green Lantern because they have really cool powers. They could pretty much create anything they think of with the power of their rings, and they're only chosen if they are worthy. Now I'm gonna start penciling her arm. We're gonna put her hand in the fist because she's showing us her mighty, mighty ring. I'm actually a huge fan of Green Lanterns. So when I got asked to do Spaced Out, I got really, really excited because I found out I was gonna be drawing the lanterns. Not only lanterns, I'm gonna be drawing outer space. Not only outer space, I'm gonna be drawing Supergirl. So I was totally stoked to be on this project because I got to draw all of my favorite things. And we're gonna go down, we're gonna figure out the length of the legs, make sure everything is proportionally correct as much as it can be. So now she is ready for action. And even at home when I'm working on comics, my pencils are relatively loose till I get to the final point. And when I'm working on DC superhero girls, because everyone in editorial needs to know what I'm doing, so it is much tighter. But since we're here and having fun, I'm just gonna leave the pencils looser and hope that it turns out the way I want it. Because I wanna add some color for you guys. So, Spaced Out is not my newest issue coming out because it'll be coming out next year, part of the amazing DC's Zoom line with other amazing all-age fun kids books. But in about a month's time, Out of the Bottle will be coming out, which is also awesome because it stars Harley Quinn, my other favorite character, and she causes all sorts of shenanigans. It makes me really happy when she causes shenanigans because you know you're in for a good laugh and a really fun adventure. And then you have to figure out what the solution is. And my favorite thing about Out of the Bottle, the issue coming out, is that all the girls create their own comic books, which is really cool because I create comic books. So they create comic books and I created them. So it's this nice little play there. But thanks to Harley Quinn, those comic books kind of come to life unexpectedly in a variety of different styles and a variety of different antics. And it makes it really fun because I can draw everything. And we created Batacorn. Batacorn is a bat unicorn, guys, so Batacorn's always worth getting checked out. Make her ring glowing. And now we're gonna go for the Green Lantern. Little icon here. Keep it nice and loose for you guys. Make it look nice and cute. The best part about DC superhero girls is the girls are so cute and so fun to draw, and they have so much energy. And since each girl has a different personality, I get to draw them all slightly differently. Harley Quinn's never staying still. She's always bouncing around. Wonder Woman always looks stoic because she is a powerful woman and very confident. And Jessica Cruz, when I start drawing her in Spaced Out, she's a very awkward girl, which I know a lot about awkward because I am very awkward myself. So I like drawing her poses because she's never standing still. She's always like kind of slouching down, very unsure of herself. Her feet are never in the right place. You always hope that she won't fall over. There you go. We're gonna add some of the shading to the blackness of her outfit. There we go. And we're gonna add her some pupils so she could actually see the world around her. Pew, pew, pew. Pew, 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 pew. All right, now, my favorite part when I get to do these is I get to color them. So I don't get to color my own work for DC Superhero Girls because there's a much greater colorist than me. But today, we're gonna add some watercolor coloring for you guys. I like watercolors because they're super organic and super fun to work with. You can just have fun with the basic shapes, just adding in the color. And with watercolor, don't try to fully control it. It's not meant to be fully controlled. You're supposed to have fun with it. And think of it more in shapes rather than detail. It'll make you enjoy it a lot more, and you'll hate watercolors a lot less this way. I used to hate watercolors with a passion. Just tell everyone how much I hated watercolors. Because I started trying to control it and trying to add all the smallest little details. And it doesn't work when you add the smallest details because it won't let you. So when I tell people, when you start learning watercolors, grab the biggest brush you can and just have fun creating random shapes. Because when you create random shapes, you start learning just how to use the brush. You start learning how the colors interact with each other. And it's always really important to also learn color theory. Because there's a reason why we make shadows the way we do, why we mix certain colors together. And color theory gets applied to just about like everything. Comics, fine art, even the clothing you wear. Think about color theory without even realizing it. So it's called a color wheel, and it'll teach you all about it. And I like learning about color. I just like color in general. So since she's outer space, she is glowing. And I'm gonna mix in some brown. You know what? Her mannerisms. The biggest part about Jessica is when you're drawing her is making sure that her personality comes through, and her personality comes through as she grows as a person. Because at the start of the story, she is very unsure of herself. She's unsure of her power. She doesn't even feel she belongs, which is something most of us can relate to day to day. Because we never feel like we're good enough. We feel like, oh, someone's better than me. I don't know how I got this. I don't know if I can do this. And that's her. She's very realistic in that way. But she realizes that because she cares for her friends more than anything, that she is willing to stand up and become confident enough to save the day and save her friends. And this is something I really like about her because I actually learned a lot. I learned that I am good enough at things. I can't keep talking down to myself. And so when I draw her, she started off very hunched over, and by the end of the story, she is starting to stand more confidently. She is starting to take things in her own hands, and that makes me really happy because it gives me confidence that I could also stand up tall, and I could do cool things, and I have to stop being hard on myself. So that's what's important about Jessica, is changing her poses and changing how she interacts with the characters as she grows and learns about herself in the story. Actually, one reason I really like drawing Harley Quinn too, because Harley Quinn doesn't have any superpowers, and she's surrounded by all these amazing girls that have like the coolest superpowers. So sometimes she feels that she really doesn't belong with these girls because they're all better than she is, but that's not true. It's totally different. She brings a totally different skill set that her friends can use when they fight evil and they solve problems, and her quirkiness is one of her greatest gifts because she does think outside the box. She brings in new ideas that maybe the other girls would have never thought about. And that's what I like about Harley, is she's hard on herself because she feels I'm not a superhero, but she doesn't realize just what a wonderful superhero she is and how much the other girls need her to just be herself and bring what she brings to the table. And a giant mallet. Giant mallets do help. You can boink people across the head. I used to boink my best friend across the head with this blow-up mallet when I was a kid, so I think a lot of Harley Quinn lives in me. She'll remind you about the mallet. It was a blow-up mallet. It was a happy one. It had a big star, and anytime time you hit something, it lit up. She still reminds me of how much she hated it when I did that. That was fun, though. Now we're gonna add a little outer space background, which is just, we're gonna add a lot of darker color I mixed in. This is actually a mixture of black and blue, just because I felt the black wasn't the right consistency, so I had a little fun mixing colors to create a more of a blue background. Pew, pew. And yes, at home when I draw comic books, I do make sound effects too. The funny thing when I draw at home, which I sometimes end up doing when I'm at conventions as well, is when I'm thinking of a pose, I start posing as I'm thinking, which is very awkward when someone walks by and all of a sudden you have your hand up in the air in a power pose and they're like, what are you doing? My dogs love watching me pose because they get very confused. They're like, is Mama gonna give us a treat? I don't know, she's just being weird. But sometimes you just have to use yourself as reference when you draw. Pull up a mirror, try to figure out how you want to stand, and your character will stand the same way. Pew, pew. Darken up the background, add a little stars. I can even put my lid on. Ooh, we got shiny. Too light. Let's go for white. White always works, it makes me happy. This is just a really fun little highlighter. And it's really fun to add little details, like darken up the pupils, and a little more reflection. Yeah, I love storytelling. I always knew I wanted to become a storyteller. I never knew what kind of storyteller I wanted to become because I thought I wanted to become an animator. So I went to school for animation, realized, hey, I really hate animating. I went to school for both 3D and traditional animation, realized I still hate them both. But you know what? It's okay to change your mind. And I realized out of making the mistakes over what I don't like, that I like telling stories. And I'm like, wait, comic books. That's a way to tell stories. I love comic books. I read comic books. Well, why not become a comic book artist? And now it's my job, and I absolutely love what I do. I'm Agnes Garbowska, and this is Jessica Cruz from DC Superhero Girls.